company secrets, and they have company email, and they don't want it to be, they don't want people like this to be reading it, right? So the solution to all this stuff, and this predates the internet, right? This goes back to World War II and World War I. If you're doing radio, you don't want people to eavesdrop, you encrypt. You encrypt. And I'm going to quote the well-known American poet Robert Frost. Good encryption makes good neighbors. Right, I firmly believe that. There are a couple of encryption strategies we'll talk about. The good way to do it, although limited, and coming back to, she must have run off to do her banking banking transactions somewhere else. Oh, okay. You can do encryption where your computer encrypts and the ultimate destination, wherever that might be, decrypts. This is how Amazon.com does your checkout, for example. It's how online registration, those of you who are OU students, which is the bulk of the people here, or how faculty connect and upload our grades. It's encrypted on my machine and decrypted at the ultimate source, and it travels through the radio encrypted, and if he sees it, he looks and says, ah, gibberish to me, it's encrypted. Right? This end-to-end kind of thing, most of you know, if you see the little lock icon in your browser, that's what this means. It means your browser is encrypting for the ultimate destination to decrypt. This is really very secure. I'm not aware of any fraud ever committed on the basis of breaking this type of encryption. And that's pretty good. All right, then there's cheesy encryption. Second strategy is you can say, we've got this access point up there, and we'll encrypt everything that goes from the laptop to the access point, and then it'll be decrypted on as it goes into the wired network. Okay, so we're just going to encrypt this radio link. And historically, when they first invented this Wi-Fi stuff, they got it to work, and then they realized, oh my goodness, oh my. So they kind of rushed to try to fix it, and what they came up with something called wired equivalent privacy. Thank you. Wired equivalent privacy. It really stinks. Shortly after it was introduced, the FBI at a convention broke it on the stage in less than 5 minutes. In my ITS 453 class, I promised the students extra credit if they could break the encryption on an access point that we had set up for them, and went on with class, and by the end of the class, one of the students sitting in the back row was 90% of the way there. I told him he should have been listening to class and done the assignment after. But that's an illustration that it isn't rocket science. It isn't rocket science. So WEP is laughingstock, and justifiably so. So as soon as it became apparent that the FBI could break it in 5 minutes, and you could download tools free, and you could break it in 15 or 20, that's kind of the definition of useless. Right? So something came along, was invented better, Wi-Fi protected access, WPA, better encryption, better key management. This is where you get into the technical stuff that we talk about in our 400 level class. For a variety of reasons, WPA is stronger than WEP and is actually useful. But it does require coordination. It does require that you know the key. And we'll see if this works. We've gone to sleep.
I'm not getting any responses at all.
Yes. No jokes. I know that there's several of you that applies to too. Requires a password, and we have a workshop a week from yesterday in RTV for people who want to secure their home wireless, and there's a password involved, and passwords are only as strong as whoever invents them. Right? And so an appalling number of Oak IDs have the password PW or password or 1, 2, 3, 4. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Anyway, WPA is secure, but it does require this coordination. So can't you just picture it? If OIT said we're going to have secure internet access for all Ohio University students, and so here's the password, don't tell anybody. Right? That isn't going to work. So that's why we have this blue socket thing, but blue socket is for the protection of the university, not the protection of you and your information. So if you are doing this end-to-end SSL type encryption that your browser has the little lock, you're cool wherever you are. Otherwise,
otherwise we got you.
Otherwise, they've got you. So, are there questions? This has been a really quiet group, and I was expecting ice makers and lattes and
somebody's gonna want a t-shirt.
Espresso. So let me ask, and I know very few of you. How many of you have ever stolen internet access wirelessly from your neighbors? Yep. We've been there. Our family went to the beach a couple of summers ago. I had my laptop, and I could see wireless access from 4 of the other cottages on the beach. It didn't do any good. My fantasy baseball team still didn't win. But it was sort of a no harm, no foul, and I don't think the Federal Communication Commission is going to drag me away to jail. On the other hand, if you have a network, you could be in serious trouble because the outside world sees everything that comes to and from as coming to and from you. So if your neighbors are doing illicit stuff, the powers that be have no way of knowing that it was the neighbors and not you. Right? So there have been people who have gotten in serious trouble. I mean, we're talking kiddie porn kind of felony trouble. And their defense, at least in part, was, it wasn't me. I had this unsecured wireless network. It must have been the neighbors. I don't know whether it was or wasn't, but it could have been. And so you should have some incentive to safeguard your own network. Talk to an ITS student. Yes, the annoyance is that you'll have to type in a password every now and then. Not every time you log in, but every time you get a new computer. That's a pretty small price to pay. So maybe I should have asked it the other way. Who has never stolen internet access from their neighbors? All right, I applaud your honesty, unless you're lying to me now. I think the mic goes now to...
Okay, why don't we say, so do our barbarians have any other stuff that they want to show?
Just something I wanted to mention real quick, but...
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, cool, I have 2. All right. There you go, Sam. Okay, so just real quick, I wanted to mention, you know those little checkbox that you get when you go to an HTTPS website? It'll have an S up there in the URL, and it says that this certificate isn't valid. That could mean that we're trying to do to you what we were trying to do, like to the person that sent the Facebook message. So if you ever get that warning, that means that somebody could be sitting in the middle between you and where you're trying to go, and pick up all of that secure information that you're trying to send to the bank or somewhere else. At which point they can log in, steal all your information, and take a cruise in Jamaica or something. So those warnings you get are kind of important. Just wanted to point that out.
Okay, I want to re-emphasize that. So, all right. So, have you ever been to one of those secure websites at your bank or something, and before you can do it, it pops up a little warning: this certificate, I don't know this certificate, or it's old or something. Click here to confirm or to read about it, and you read about this company you've never heard of. What that's saying is that your computer is not sure that the guy that you're encrypting the information to is actually your bank. Basically, it's not more complicated than that. When you say close enough, what that could be is one of our barbarians here in the middle saying, hey, I'm going to pretend to be your bank. I'm going to pretend to be the guy who decrypts your stuff. Then what they'll do is they'll read it, grab your passwords or whatever they want, re-encrypt it, and send it to your bank. So from your point of view, you are really talking to your bank, but in between, something we call man in the middle, or person in the middle, they're reading everything you're doing, even though there's a padlock on here. So every time you get that little warning, I don't know, what does Explorer pop up when you see that?
No idea.
Okay. All right. Less than 50% of us now. So when you get those certificate warnings, you should never get that from a real company. If you get that from your bank, don't go there. If it's from something you don't care about too much, it may be okay. Yeah?
What about the certificate authority being screwed up at the time?
What about the certificate authority being screwed up at the time?
I've seen it where where the certificates are valid and it's an internal connection to things.
Well, it could be.
Yeah, if that happens, I would wait until the certificate authority fixes itself and then go to the website. It just depends on how paranoid you are. If you really care about what you're doing, then wait until they fix it, or you can chance it. I mean, it's really up to you, but it's still kind of a scary thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Shawn,
Yeah.
I get that most of the time with Ohio University website.
Yeah, I was.
People are on there.
So the question is that you do get those warnings from some Ohio University websites. I don't have a particularly good politically correct answer to that.
I can answer it for you.
An honest one. Okay, honestly, there are not enough of you guys out there who understand how dangerous that is for the university to put whatever resources are required to make that go away. I complain about it. Hans complains about it. Phil complains about it. So they know there are 3 people that are unhappy about it. I'd much rather there were 3,000 people unhappy about it. It's not the university is evil. It's not anything like that. But it should probably be fixed, and I wish it was a more important problem than we think it is. How's that?
Yeah. I'm not going to be quite so diplomatic, but I will.